Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs audio review. I did not want to take these out just now. Yeah, we got the Hiby, or Hiby, however you like it, the Yacht 10 for you today. I've been listening to these for, let's see, they came on April 20th. It's now May 5th. Didn't do a lot of listening in Florida. It just, wasn't really seeming appropriate to like disappear into my earphones with my mom and my son and doing the things and stuff like that. So but on the plane, yes, so I did get a little bit of noise isolation testing going. They did make it to the grocery store. They did make it to dishwashing and stuff like that. So right out the gate, the noise isolation isn't the best, but it's good enough. I felt like the plane, the Performer 5 plus 2, which I also had with me, among others, which I didn't listen to. But anyway, beside the point, the Performer 5 plus 2 seemed to provide a little bit more isolation than the Yacht 10, but that's probably just due to venting, I'm guessing, because the Yacht 10 seems to have the venting pretty well done, I would say. Looks like there's only one hole, tiny one there, but since it is only a dynamic driver, as we bust into specs, 10 millimeter, I think it's titanium aluminum. No, hold on, let me bring this up here. I just had it. It was right in front of me. There we go. All right, so what the heck? How did I zoom that in so much? Crazy. Where is it? Oh yeah, okay. Magnesium, aluminum, alloy, dome, high performance, low distortion, 10 millimeter dynamic driver. That's what we got. Okay, so what the heck? There we go. That's better. Sorry about that. Little operator error happening there. In addition to that single dynamic driver, your other specs are 24 ohms of resistance, frequency response from 20 hertz to 40 kilohertz, and a sensitivity of 95 decibels at 1 kilohertz. I call BS on that. Honestly, these things are so flippin' sensitive. I mean, like, I had them, let's see, when I measured them just a couple of minutes ago, they were at 20% volume, 20 out of 100 on the laptop. I did not get them over like mid 30s to low 40s on anything that I used, whether it was either the FIOS, third volume on the iFi, the Hiby RS6 Mark III, which I brought with me on the trip, seemed to be right about 40, 42 on the volume, was just about perfect. Any louder than that, it was just like kind of getting too loud. But no distortion. I mean, they kind of rock that out. It is super low distortion. These things are clear as a fucking bell. That I'm going to say right out of the gate. There is no problem with clarity. And, my initial reaction was, wow. And then I was like, maybe a little bit bright for some people. And then I was like, really close to the Origin, which is my favorite single dynamic driver to date. I almost liked it better than the Origin at points, and then at other points I was like, maybe not. But anyway, we're in Origin territory. Origin's regular retail price was, or is, depending on where you are, about the equivalent of $260 US. These guys come in at 150, 129 with the current coupon Amazon North America, so no tariff action on these guys yet. They probably have some in stock stateside at this point. I don't know how long it's going to last, who knows. But for right now, they're $130, half the price of the Origin. Man, like that close for me to the Origin in enjoyability, sound quality, performance, etc. So as we look in the box, and I love the packaging too, guys and gals, really slick packaging, really nice. Oh good, there's all of the specs, right? No specs on the back. Couldn't be that lucky. Here's the box. Orange and black, as you may see, is the theme. They call the shells are like cyberpunk. There's some more specs for us. 1.2 Teslas. CCAW voice coil. I think that's Japanese. CNC aluminum shell. The single dynamic driver we talked about. Lit structure. Silver plated copper cable with a 4-pin lock system on it. I'll get into that. I like it, don't love it. I like it, don't love it. Did I say that? I like it, don't love it. What I do love is the freaking case. The case is spacious. It's got this like divider in it. Here's like modular cables. So there's the 3.5 termination. A little cleaning brush for you. Gel pack because they're metal. Silica gel pack desiccant thing, you know. And then this divider, which can be removed if it annoys you. To me, I kind of liked having it in there because I was able to put in the DTC 800 from Dunu for my portable DAC amp solution for the trip. Fit right in there along with the Shanling L3 Lightning to USB-C cable, OTG cable. Everything fit right in there. It's felty on the inside, nice and soft, so you don't have to worry about scratching up your face plates. And the outside is leather. At least I think it's full leather. Maybe it's pleather, but it's very nice pleather if it is. And then you have this magnetic little flap that closes it off for you. I believe this is also, yeah, that's also magnetic. So magnets and more magnets. Very nice case. Winner. For $130, that's one of the nicest cases I've ever seen. Paperwork in the sleeve, whatever. I am sat in here. And then down below, you know, the tip selection, it's okay. You know, could have been better. I feel like the interesting thing is that if you're into foams, I'm not, but if you are, good on ya. 3 sets, so actually small, medium, and large in a really nice, it's a slow recovery foam. Like I was gonna try to use it for the measurement, but I just was struggling a little bit too much with getting them over the nozzles, and then they got all crushed. I was like, I'll just use the Daconis for the measurements like usual. But nice foams, I would say. And then, you know, these are kind of, I feel like pretty standard silicone ear tips at this point. Normal bore, you know, fairly stiff stem, not too long, not too deep. Nice, you know, I mean, nothing special. I will let you know that the tips that I used were numerous because I had a long time to do this. So in use, in order of preference, I'm going with the Divinus Velvet Normal Bore. First choice. The Origin ear tips from Azla are quickly becoming some of my favorites. I just like how they feel. I like how they sound. They were really good on the Yacht 10. I feel like there was a little bit too much with the treble on the set, and the wide bore Divinus Velvets, not my favorite, but okay. You know, still sounded good. The Whizzer Easy tips, grab them if you can find them. I love those. They're a little shallower, which is nice, and a little wider bore. Those were pretty darn good on it too. So I would say my favorites were still the normal bore Divinus Velvet, but a real close second, those Azla Origin tips were fan-frickin-tastic as well. It's so comfy. At least for my ears, they're great. I'll pop these back in here. So yeah, other than a little bit of a, you know, on the ear tips, I felt like everything was pretty well appointed with this set. Get this stuff in here. Close the box back up. They do have a graph. Yeah, you'll see mine. It's, you know, it's okay. I mean, it's nice that they include it, but I'd rather it be like not so flattened out, so you guys can see what actually things are sort of sounding like. But that aside, oh yeah, and lastly, the cable. And the cable is nice. Again, not tangly, you know, pretty easy to manage. As I tangle it now, of course, just on cue. Really nice chin slider here, actually, too, which does stay put wherever you end up feeling like it's most comfortable. It stays right there, so that's good. And the termination, as I mentioned, it's a 4-pin locking system. Comes with 4.4 and 3.5. I used the cable for the testing because obviously, 3.5 is needed. Um, yeah, it twists off like that and then pulls off like that. There's obviously some friction holding it in place too. I'm it doesn't feel super secure when you push the pins in, the 4 pins. But when you tighten this locking system, it's definitely not going anywhere. This is not a breakaway collar. Um, and the L shape, that's preference too. Some people like it, some people don't. That's what comes with it. Cable grade's a B plus for the modular terminations for the locking system, which is a lot more secure, I think, than it actually probably looks or feels like. But it's pretty secure. I had no issues with it coming off. Um, yeah, and the cable's got good heft, and it seems like it's of nice quality. But it's not my favorite cable. However, the aesthetic matches the IEMs perfectly, and the IEMs are. Oh, there's the other vent. Yeah, I was like, there's no way that venting could just be that one tiny little hole. But yeah, so there's the other vent there. So a little teeny tiny open backy kind of thingy going on with it, which keeps your pressure build up to a minimum. I did not notice nor have any issues whatsoever with pressure on these. 2-pin 0.78 for your flush, for your connection. Cable swapping should be pretty easy in that respect. Nice secure fit. They're not going to fall off. And I really dig the build of these. Now, I did notice, and this would be after a fairly significant period of time, like we're talking, maybe not the whole time because I was chatting with my kiddo too, but, the flights, when I was wearing these, at least an hour, without a problem. I do feel like people with smaller ears might have a little bit of an issue with their shape and size. They're a little angular. I did notice it, rubbing on the inner part of my outer ear, a little bit. Not to the point where I was like, I have to take these out. I mean, we're not talking about the East 6 from Muse Hi-Fi, which were like murder to wear. These are way more comfortable than that, but I just wanted to let you know that if you've got smaller ears, you may have a little bit of an issue with them rubbing. It's not like they're sharp edges, but they are edgy. Cyberpunk edgy. Gray, silver, really freaking cool to look at. Like, build quality is definitely an A plus on that. If not the actual, ergonomic design, that's going to depend on your ears. So, smaller ears you might want to steer clear. Just because you're going to want to keep them in, and if you can't because they're uncomfortable, that's just going to piss you off. So yeah, overall, you're looking at 150 or potentially 130 bucks if the coupon is available in your area on Amazon. Everything is going great so far, and I should mention the ear hooks are they're formed, but they're not aggressive, and I had no comfort issues or issues with they're being pulled out of my ears or anything like that. So comfortable on that end of things as well. How did they sound though? As I mentioned at the beginning, kind of letting the cat out of the bag a little bit, I really enjoyed the heck out of this set. Like really, a lot. I always like try to temper myself a little bit when I'm getting to know a set, because something like this is pretty, it's pretty impressive out of the gate. You've got sub bass rumble. You've got a bunch of mid bass impact without it bleeding. It's got that nice balance. It's got a warmth to it. It's got a full, lush, full lush feel, even more so than the Azla Horizon 2 did, in my opinion. The ear gain is reasonable, energetic, but very reasonable. And then the only part of this, and I'll address this too, because some people look at this and they're like, "Well, does it sound distant?" No, it does not. So don't worry about that. There's plenty of energy in the treble, pretty consistently, all the way up into the air region. You might be a little bit, tiny bit worried about this spike here at 5.5 to 6K, 5 to 6K. Don't. This is one of those things where I said this about the Origin, which is going to be my main comp with this set. If you've got a good enough driver, you can get away with a little bit more aggressive tuning in the treble. And that's what they did. And they did that, obviously, for clarity, for detail, for soundstage, for separation, for, placement, imaging, like all of those things. This is way above average in all of those respects. And it's because the treble is just really well done. It's another one of those things, and I'll keep saying it till somebody tells me to shut up. They tuned this to the driver. Okay, this is not, we're going to try to make it sound like, this is we're going to make it perform it to its best potential kind of situation. And I really love that. I'm not saying they didn't tweak it a little bit here and there. They probably did. I'm not an audio engineer, so I'm not going to comment on what they did or didn't do. But what came out, whatever their goal was, what came out sounds very unforced. It sounds very easy. It sounds very approachable. It sounds very accurate, clear as a fucking bell. Like, that is what I love. There's a lot about this that I love. The bass I love, the ear gain I love, the treble, I really dig it a lot. Those of you who are a little bit sensitive on the treble side of things, I almost feel like you could get past it because of the level of sound quality. But if you know this is going to bother you, this peak here, this peak between 8 and 9K, this peak here at 13, and this peak here at 16-ish, almost 17. If those things are if they're going to bother you, then don't bother with it. They don't bother me. I will say that I actually picked up the 17K. Don't ask me how, but I noticed it a couple of times. I was like, damn, I guess I haven't lost as much hearing on the top end as I thought. So I should probably just break down and just go get a hearing test to see exactly where it cuts off. But I swear to God, I could hear that 17K peak. And sound up there isn't exactly attractive, but it's cool if you can pick it up. And it definitely fills out the soundstage, gives you some immersion to it. I feel like the soundstage in this was just really, really nice. Not concert hall big, but again, appropriate for the tuning and immersive enough where you do feel like you're kind of getting lost in it. And that's something that I really enjoy, especially when I'm listening to more ethereal type of music. You're not going to want for any detail. All the details that I'm used to picking up, including those bells and that descending and at 650 of descending by Tool, were easily recognizable. Sub bass drops, especially in Agony by Slaughter to Prevail. The rumble was all there. Vocals sounded fantastic. I think this, sort of easier, not quite as recessed, not quite as dipped mid-range definitely helped male vocals achieve more weight and presence. Female vocals were clean, clear, pretty, beautiful. There wasn't really anything unnatural about this until you got into the very, very upper treble and like cymbal decay, and you're getting into like the 13, 14, 15K area, and then you've got dynamic driver treble coming through just a little tiny bit. It's just got that little bit of sheen and sheer. It's not even spicy or sizzly. It's just kind of like, if you've heard it, you know what I'm talking about, and it's pretty much unavoidable in dynamic drivers that I've experienced. Like even the Origin had it up to, had it up there a little bit. This just has it up there a little bit. And it's not enough to be annoying, it's just like there. It's kind of like you recognize BA treble, you recognize planar treble, you recognize dynamic driver treble. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Again, not a criticism, an observation. I don't think it's going to bother you. I don't. What I like about this set overall is that it feels very complete. It feels like very rich and at the same time, not over the top. It feels like it's a very satisfying, very engaging listen, and I felt that across pretty much all genres. I didn't feel like there was a weak spot in this at all. You may beg to differ, but it certainly has enough down low for EDM and hip hop, and some metal. It certainly has enough up top to keep you happy in your pop and K-pop and J-pop, and has enough just sort of overall richness for instrumental, classical, acoustic, that kind of stuff's just so clear. Like, that is what I love about this. It's so freaking clear. I won't drop the F-bomb again. Or maybe I will. So fucking clear. That's what I love about this set. And I don't find that you usually get that amount of clarity in a set that's under $200. This is well under that. And so that's why it's getting a highly recommended for me. And with the caveat that if you can get it for $150 or with a coupon for $130, don't fucking wait. Just get it, because it's not going to be that price. Like, the next time we get a container ship from China, the tariffs are going to be on it. You've already seen prices go up on AliExpress, and it's nice that they have it broken out so you can see how much you're paying in tariffs. Amazon, I guess, is backing away from that. They're not going to do it. You're just going to see prices go up. And, even though I love this set, paying $150 for it is a lot different than paying $325. Right? And I'm not saying it's not worth $325, because man, it sounds freaking good, Like, I definitely put it up there with the Origin. These are my two favorite single dynamic driver sets now, and two of my favorite sets of all. So if you're thinking about it, if you want to try to grab another really, really good set before the tariffs hit all of Amazon, which they're going to, then I wouldn't hesitate. I would not hesitate. It's good. Like, just really good. Really enjoyable. And I had to keep checking myself. I was like, is it really? Because I do that. I'm like, is it really? Let me tell you this. I didn't have the Origin to AB it with, but I did have the AFU 5+2, right? I hate to say it, because the 5+2 is twice as expensive, just about. I like it better. I think it's clear. I think the treble is better. I think the treble is more accurate, more detailed, and has less sort of that, sort of sandy, sort of BA treble thing going on. And I love me some AFU 5+2. That's one of my favorite sets too. But as far as the treble goes, as long as you can handle the energy, the Yacht 10, it's got to beat. And I think that says a lot. So I think that's going to do it for today. I'm trying to get back on track with the reviews now that I'm going to be around for a couple of weeks, then family vacation, so it'll be another week off. But I'll see if I can get a couple 3 in before that happens. Keep up with you guys. I will link Amazon's North America's product for this in the description, so you can grab it if you want to. And yeah, that's it. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. Be careful. Be safe. Be nice. Love y'all. Nothing but peace to you. See you real soon.